Hello friends and welcome back. So in this session we will learn how to install the Terraform and then how we can set up the connections with the AWS. Okay, so initially I thought I will add this session later a time, okay, when we will go for the lab exercises and then implementations, okay. But now I am adding this session at the very beginning. The reason is that the sessions that I am going to add after this particular session, okay, so there are a lot of things that we need to understand theoretically. Okay, because in Terraform, every configurations we define in the configuration files. Okay, in different blocks. Okay, so I thought the first I will explain you the complete end to end how to define the code, and then we'll go for the lab exercises, and then I will explain you how to install and then how to set up the connections. Okay, but now the session that I am going to create, okay, it is completely based on the practical as well. Practical in the sense, whatever the theory that I am going to explain you, okay, I will show you with the executions as well. That means almost in each and every session, whatever the theory that I am going to explain, I will show you with the executions as well. Okay, so that I'm adding this session at the very beginning so that you can also do same thing. Whatever the session that you are going to follow and whatever the lab exercises that I'm showing there, okay. So you can also execute from your side as well as soon as you progress with the particular sessions, right? And that's the reason I'm just adding this session at the very beginning of this course, right? So now the in this session, the what we are going to learn first how to install the Terraform, okay, and second AWS connection setup. So our mostly our lab exercises are going to be on the AWS cloud. So the first part, installation of Terraform. So Terraform you can install on any machine. So it could be your local machine or your local laptop or Windows machine, okay, where you are working. Okay, and then from that particular machine you can create the AWS resources, and because this Terraform has to create the connections in the AWS cloud. Okay, so we need to set up the connections between the Terraform and the AWS connections, right? So once you have a connection set up in place, or you can say the authentication and authorization in place, then your Terraform code can reach to the AWS connection, right? So we have two parts. The very first thing, Terraform installation. So I will show you how to install it on Windows. Then I will show you how to install in the Linux machines as well. So for Linux machine, I will create one EC2 virtual machine on the AWS cloud, and there I will install the Terraform, right? And once the installation is completed, then we'll move for the AWS connection setup. So to create the connection, or you can say authorization between the Terraform and your EC2, not EC2, between AWS and Terraform. Okay, so we have some different methods for set up the connections, right? So this is your Terraform, which you have installed maybe in some Windows machine or maybe in some Linux machine. So this is going to connect with the AWS account. So we need to set up the connection between them. So the first part of this session is about installation of Terraform, which is a very straightforward and simple way. And then we will see how we can set up the connection with the AWS. So we have multiple ways for AWS authentication setup. So I will explain you each and every one. Let us first cover how to install the Terraform. Okay, so installation of Terraform is very straightforward. It's a very small utility. Okay, which you can download, which will be downloaded in a couple of seconds. Okay, so if you want to install it on Windows, so this is the link. Okay, developers.hashicorp.com Terraform install. So you can download from here. So you can see as in the screenshot, you have a different installers for the Windows, Linux, and for the operating systems as well. So Windows, you will have this option, which is for the AMD 64. Okay, and so let me mark it as well. So this is the Windows sections. Once you will reach to this particular URL, so you can click on this download option for the AMD 64, and this is for the Windows 64-bit operating system. Okay, and you can download. So once it is downloaded, there will be a zip file. Okay, that you can extract that zip file and just add the terraform.exe in your path variable in the Windows system, so that you can execute Terraform command from anywhere. Okay, so that's a very straightforward process. Now, if you want to install in some other operating systems like Ubuntu, Debian, RHEL, Fedora, so you can go to Linux section, click on the particular subsection on which you are going to install, and then you will see the instructions there. Okay, so this is the instruction for CentOS OS and RHEL. Okay, so this is a sudo yum command which is going to install some basic utilities, and then there is a link, okay, from the HashiCorp which will download and install in your Linux machine. Okay, so you can see that it's a very straightforward process, and within a couple of a second or a minute of a time, you can install the Terraform in your system. So once it is installed, you can run the Terraform -v command to check the version of your Terraform. Okay, so let us first start with the installation, and then we'll go for the AWS connection setup. Okay, so now I will just minimize this window, and I will go to this link. So this is the link I was talking about for the HashiCorp, okay, for download. So you can see here you have a for Mac OS, you have for Windows, for Linux. For Linux, you have a different kind of a flavors of the Linux. So everything is there. So if you want to install it on the Windows machine, you can just click on this ARM64 and then download. Okay, it will take a couple of seconds to download in your local machine. So once it is downloaded, you can just open it. Okay, so this is, you can see this is the installer that has been downloaded. So you just need to extract it in some location. I'm just extracting it in the current location only. Okay, so you can see it is extracted now, and inside that you will see there is a license file and there is a Terraform file. Okay, this Terraform is an exe, executable exe. Okay, so this is somewhere around of 93 MB. So there is no other files or no other software directories there. Okay, only single terraform.exe file. So you just need to add this Terraform in your path variable in the Windows so that you can execute it from anywhere, right? So if you will not add in the path variable, so every time you are going to execute the Terraform command, you have to go to this location here, because this file is exists in this location only, right? So you have to run here from here Terraform and then -v. Okay, so this will show you the Terraform version. So this is the current Terraform version. Right. So, so that to you, because you want to execute this command from anywhere, right? You open the command prompt and you don't want to go in the particular directory. Okay, so you can add this particular path in your path variable. So to add in the path variable in the Windows, you can just click to your programs, and then you can look for the environment. You will see the edit the system environment variables. Click on this one, and then here you will have a environment variables. So here you have a environmental variables for particular user. So go to your path, open it, and here you can click on new, and here you can add the path, whatever the path wherever you have downloaded the Terraform. So in my case, I have already downloaded in some different location, so it is already added there. So I'm not going to add this again, this variable. So this is a very straightforward process. Okay, how to download it on Windows, and then how to add it in your class path, not class path, in the path. Okay, and so that why we are adding in path, because we want to execute it from anywhere, right? We don't want to go every time in this particular location. So this is the installation of Terraform in your local system or Windows machine. Okay, so now I will show you how to install Terraform on the Linux. Okay, Linux machine. Okay, so for that, what I will do, I will take one Linux machine on my AWS cloud. Okay, which I am going to act as a Terraform client machine right now instead of Windows. So for that, what I will do, I will quickly create one EC2 machine. Okay, so if you do not have a good knowledge of the cloud and you haven't worked on how to create the machines, how to access the machines, then I will show you. Okay, and you will get a knowledge of the working on the EC2 machines as well in the Linux. Okay, so for creating the EC2 machine, Linux machine, we have to go to the EC2, or you can search here as well, EC2, and you will see the action. Go to the EC2. Okay, and to create a new virtual machine, you have to click on the launch instance. Here is launch instance, or you can go to the instances section. So inside the instances section, you will see all the virtual machine that you have right now. Okay, so I do not have any machine. I have 4 machines here. You can say one is running and 3 are stock as of now. Now you want to create the machine, you click on the launch instance. Okay, and I will tell you the basic what are the bare minimum input that is required for you to create the virtual machine, because your goal is to learn the Terraform, not the AWS, right? But AWS machine you need if you want a Linux machine to act as a Terraform client. Okay, so you need some basic details that is required to create the Linux machines, right? So there are some basic input that you need when you are working on the AWS to create a virtual machine. So very first thing, you have to provide a name for your machine. What will be the name that will be displayed on the screen once you will create the machine, once it is created? Okay, so let me give Terraform, Terraform client. Okay, so this is the name that will be displayed on the instance screen of my AWS. Right, next, which AMI that machine should use. So I want to be installed my Red Hat Linux machine, so I have clicked on the Red Hat. Okay, and here you can see the Red Hat version that has been selected automatically. Okay, inside the instance type, which is the free tier eligible. Okay, which is the 1 GB of memory, 2 virtual CPU, T2.micro. Okay, this is free tier eligible. If you create this machine, you will not have to pay anything for this for a year of a time. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going to create a T2.medium machine. Okay, because I may need to install some more software, so I'm going with the T2.medium, which is with the 4 GB of memory. Okay, so it is not free. So whenever this machine is running, you have to pay some charges for that, which is displayed here, per hour charges. Okay, so very first thing, we have given a name for the machine. Second, we have selected the Red Hat. Then we have selected the instance type. Okay, and then you need to set the key pair login. So in the Linux, on the AWS cloud, we log into the machines with the help of key pairs, public and private key. Okay, so you need to create a public and private key pair. So if you already have created your own public and private key earlier, okay, so you can utilize the same. But if you have not created any as of now, you are working as a beginner or a fresher, and then you are creating your first virtual machine, so you can just go here and click on the create new key pair. Okay, and select the default RSA, and then here you can select the .ppk, because I'm going to access this machine from the putty tool. So I will download this in the .ppk format. Anytime you want to convert this ppk to PEM, okay, you can convert it later as well. Okay, so select the ppk and then click on create, but before that you can give a name. So let me give Terraform client. So I'm giving the same name which I have given for my machine. Then click on create key pair. Okay, and you can see that the corresponding private key has been downloaded in your system. Okay, so this is the private key, so you can take this and you can save it anywhere, wherever you want. So I'm copying it on my desktop, right? So so this is your private key which has been downloaded, and the corresponding public key will be in the server. So that will help to authentication. Now there are certain networking configurations. We need to set the VPC, subnet, and then all these things. So you don't need to worry about that one, because AWS by default provides some default VPC and configuration. So you can go with the default, whatever is displaying here. Okay. And in the security groups, we can select for the default one, because I have multiple security groups. It is prompting me for the multiple security groups. So you can select the default group, or if there is no group, you can go with the create security group as well. There is no issue on that. Okay, so in a nutshell, you don't need to worry about this particular section. It will be automatically populated for you. Okay, and then we have a storage. So I'm going with the 10 GB default. That is sufficient, because I'm just going to use this machine for demo purpose of the Terraform. So I don't need much space here. So 10 GB is sufficient. Otherwise, the up to 30 GB is you can utilize. Okay, for which is free tier eligible. So if you want, you can increase it to the 30 as well. Right, so these are the bare minimum details that you can use for creating the machines. Okay, so apart from that, I have posted many videos in our YouTube channel as well. So with this course, in the resource section, I will give the link of all those sessions as well, where you have the understand the few more options that we may get when we create the virtual machines. Okay, so like to allow the SSH traffic from the internet, or to allow any traffic from the outer world. So there are multiple other configurations as well you may encountered. So I will post that link as well. You can go through that link, and then you will understand properly how to create a virtual machine if you do not have experience on the cloud. So now once this is done, you can click on the launch instance. Okay, so it will take just couple of seconds to launch the instance, and then to ready your machine, it's hardly a minute of a time. Okay, so your machine will be ready in some time, and then you can able to log in as well in a few minutes as well. Okay, so now you can see that this is a Terraform machine that I am creating. So I'm not using this machine, so I will just terminate this machine. I don't want anything to be built unnecessary, so I'm going to terminate this one. So this is a Terraform machine that I am creating, right? If you remember, this is the name I have given, Terraform client. You can refresh it. Okay, and okay, now you can see the instance is running. The status check is initializing. Okay, so there's a public IP that has been assigned. So we always log into the virtual machine in cloud with the help of public IP address, right? So what I need to take the IP address, public IP address of my machine. Okay, and then I can access with the help of putty2. So this is my public IP, and now the authentication is with the help of public and private key. So go to SSH authentication credentials. So here you have to provide your private key location, select on browse and desktop. This is the key that we have created during the when we created the machine. So open this key. Okay, and I can specify the timeout here 5, so that the putty session will not time out. Now click on open, accept, and the default user in the AWS is EC2-user. EC2-user, and authentication will be with the help of our private key, right? So now you can see our machine is accessible, right? So it took just couple of minutes only to create a virtual machine and to access your virtual machine. Okay, so this machine you can utilize for some other your demo and training purpose as well. Okay, not specific for the Terraform. So if you do not have a knowledge of the AWS and how to work on the EC2 machine, then this particular session is very helpful for you because it is giving you the understanding of cloud as well. Right. So now our Linux machine is ready. So now we need to install the Terraform on the Linux machine. So Windows we have already covered, right? So for installing it on the Linux, so again go back to documentation. So here go back to Linux section and then uh, this is the CentOS RHEL, and these are the three commands that you need to run for installation of the Terraform in the Windows machine. Okay, so now first I will run this particular command, which is sudo yum install this. This is to install some important required utilities that is required for the Terraform. Okay, so I'm running first command install -y yum util. So it is going to install some important utilities. Again, it will take some time. Within a few seconds or a minute of a time, it will be installed. Okay, now it is done. You can say nothing to do, complete. So everything is already there, right? So now the second command is, let me go back here, and this is the second command, okay, to add the repository of the Terraform. So once the repository is added, then it can reach to the repository for downloading. Okay, so yeah, so the repository has been added. Okay, so now what I will do, I will quickly go here and then I will run the Terraform install command. So let me run it. Now it will take some time to download the Terraform installation and then to perform the complete installation. Okay, you can see it is in progress. Okay, complete. So within a second of a time, your Terraform has been installed, right? So now we can check with the help of Terraform B. Terraform -B. Okay, this is the Terraform version 1.14.8, which you can see here as well. Okay, in this particular Terraform install. But is the current version we have downloaded, the latest version 1.14.8. Right. So this is the way we can install the Terraform in the Windows machine and the Linux machine, which is a very straightforward couple of minutes of the time you need for the installation. So now next we'll cover how to create the connection between Terraform and the AWS account.